president says he wants to end wars, but he's potentially sending the CIA into Venezuela.
I voted with the Democrats in a minority vote that said that there should be congressional authorization under the Constitution for this type of action. I think we ought to be very wary of attacking boats in other parts of the world that may or may not contain narcotics.
It's protecting America greatly. Narco-terrorism is a huge threat to our country. More people die from drug overdoses than die from any terrorist activity. Venezuela is the center of the storm. The guy's indicted, and there's more coming. We're not going to sit on the sidelines.
It's going to potentially put American lives at risk.
Yeah, no, you know what you're doing? You're saving American lives. Every time you blow up one of these drug boats, you're saving. You know, Maduro's on borrowed time, I hope. I hope the people of Venezuela, he's not a legitimate president.
This potential for undeclared war is deeply troubling. We ought to learn from the Bay of Pigs, the Contras with Nicaragua under Kennedy and Reagan, that small wars have a way of going awry, costing lives and dollars for our nation. So these kinds of covert mini-wars need to be examined very closely and need to be investigated by Congress. We need congressional scrutiny and oversight here. And interdicting the boats carrying drugs, absolutely right. We need to embolden and strengthen the Southern Command through the Coast Guard, interdicting, arresting, using the legal process, but simply bombing potential adversaries on land and starting wars that may spiral out of control ought to be deeply alarming to the American public and ought to be investigated by Congress under the War Powers Act.
Look at what President Trump has done. I mean, I went through the front pages of the legacy media over the last 2 days. No one is giving credit for the release of these hostages that people thought would never come home.
But why is he going into Venezuela?
Look at what Venezuela has done. Look, I'm happy to take a look at what you're talking about, but literally there is a war on American citizens when it comes to fentanyl. We've had more fentanyl overdoses.
That comes from Mexico, not Venezuela.
Leading cause of death between the ages of 18 and 45. Look, I'm happy to look at what you're doing, but President Trump said he was going to keep America safe. He was going to make our communities strong. And
by
he's making
starting
one
a
of those
war
things.
elsewhere.
So thank you.